Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Edwin back again for Strictly Comics, and we are continuing part 2 of my largest CBCS submission ever. I submitted 51 books back in May, and I got them all back already. And I'm not going to be able to show all 51 because some of them I had to get into the possessions of the owner. But I'm going to show you 10 today, and I'm going to show you 10 more, the last 10, which will be the final part next week. But let's go ahead and get right into this. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate it. And go ahead and ring that bell so you can get notified every time I upload a video. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. This, I think a lot of people picked up this week, Batman Damned, issue number 3. I can't remember. This is the final issue. There's one more. But I'm going to really enjoy reading this. I think I actually might have to go back and grab the other cover. But I hate the fact that these books are so big and they're hard to store properly. I don't even know if they'll fit in a Golden Age bag and board, but you know, it is what it is. So, but I picked this up. Up next, I think that a lot of people picked up as well. Spawn number 298. Of course, it's homage to Amazing Spider-Man 298. But the one thing I appreciate about this is not only is the cover really sick, I love the colors, but this actually marks me continuing with getting caught up with my Spawn issues. I think I left off around like issue 246, so I got a lot of reading to do, but I want to get caught up because Spawns are usually a fast read, and I just want to get caught up as we approach 300 and probably on into like maybe 301 to 310. So we'll see. Up next, this was a spec purchase. This is the sorry about the glare, you guys. It might not stay closed, but this is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 40. This was the B cover. And the only reason why I picked this up is because it's the first appearance of the White Ranger in comics, from what people tell me. Now, I'm not a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. They just didn't click with me back in the day. As a matter of fact, my little brother liked him way more than I did. But actually, I'm thinking about getting, what's his name, Jason Frank. He's in Texas a lot. And so I actually might get him to sign this, and I'll get it slabbed. And I'm actually going to probably either flip it or I might give it to my little brother who's in his mid-30s as a birthday present or something like that. So maybe he'll appreciate that. I don't know. But that's all the new comic book pickups that I got this week. So let me know what you guys picked up. Before we get into the rest of these slabs, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Strictly Comics. Right now, I actually got a raffle going on. I'm raffling off Uncanny X-Men 248 first Jim Lee art in X-Men, signed by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. So I'm trying to get that complete so we can raffle that off and get that to the winner. But yeah, I just post a lot of cool stuff, you know, a lot of con stuff that I'm going to be posting soon. And I actually post a lot of stuff for sale. As a matter of fact, this, along with a bunch of other books, are actually already for sale right now on my Instagram. So what's special about this book? I sent this in hoping for a 9.8, but I was actually expecting more like a 9.6 or 9.4 because it had some very faint ticks. And this actually completes the 12-issue run of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yes, that's right. I got the entire 12-issue run, all CBCS 9.8. So I sent this in not really knowing, but hoping, and it came back. Boom! A CBCS 9.8. So now I am so excited because this completes the 12-issue run that I've actually been working on for quite a while, you guys. And there's rumor that they're going to do Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW or something like that. I'm not sure. But it's perfect timing. So I got the full set actually on Instagram, Facebook, and eBay for sale right now, in case anybody's interested. All right, up next, Detective Comics number 525. What's special about this? Other than the signatures, it's like the second appearance, I think, of the Killer Croc. His first cover appearance, but he's got his back turned to us. So, you know, I think that if you're a Killer Croc completist, you got to have this in your collection. But what's special about this is it's signed by the one of the creators of Killer Croc, Jerry Conway, and Dan Jerdans. And I sent it off not really knowing what grade it might come back as actually this book and another book I got from Tamawa over on Instagram, T_MOUA. I bought these off of him a while back. I cleaned them, pressed them, and I sent it off. I was actually hoping this would be like around a 9.2 to a 9.4, and it came back as a CBCS 9.0. So I still consider that to be a high grade comic. Anything in the 9s, even 8.0s and 8.5, especially if they're like in the Silver Age. But this is going to be in my PC because I don't have anything signed by Gary Conway or Dan Jurgens, and I actually am a fan of Killer Croc, so I'm actually really happy about this. All right, up next is this one. Yeah. So this is the first Killer Croc on the cover. So you get to see him, what he looks like. But also what's special about this book is this the very first published artwork of Dan Jurgens. Now, we all know Dan Jurgens mostly from like the Death of Superman and a lot of Superman stuff. He's predominantly more like a writer now for Superman and DC. But I just love the way that he drew Superman back in the 90s. Still love his artwork, but this just kind of means a lot to me. It's sentimental value. And like I said, I'm a fan of Killer Croc. But I sent it off not really knowing what grade this might come back as. I was hoping for like an 8.5, maybe a 9. And it came back as an 8.0. So it's fine because contrary to what some people might think, I believe that CBCS is kind of the stricter or more accurate grader, I guess. I know that you do have your seasons where CGC is up and down, CBCS is up and down, but as of late, CBCS has been the more strict and accurate grader. So I can't really argue with an 8.0. It is white pages, so it is what it is, and it's all good. So I got that. Up next is White Widow issue number 1. This is just some kind of, I think this is the regular cover, as a matter of fact. This is the foil logo, cover A, and I met the creators at Fan Expo Dallas, the writer and the artist. He signed it in like it's a really thin pen, but anyways, he signed it there, and I think the writer signed it here. And I was hoping for a 9.8 to a 10.0 just because these are the thick card stock covers. And it came back a 9.8. So I'm not disappointed at all. It's all good. I didn't have a chance to grab this when it came out a few months back. I was happy that the creators were there and I was able to get them to sign a copy. So definitely happy to have that. And then up next is another White Widow. This is like cover C. Man, you guys can't really see that well, can you? Sorry about that. Anyways, it's a foil logo variant, and again, I got the creators to sign it. Right, you got okay right there, and then right there, I got them to sign it. So again, hoping for like anywhere between a 9.8 to a 10.0, and it came back a CBCS 9.8. So really looking good right here. Really happy to have these in my collection. And I'm going to show you the last book that I got that kind of goes with this set. And this one right here, this is the White Widow number 1. It's the 3D lenticular or animated variant. See, she goes from having her clothes on to being in like a 2-piece bikini, clothes on, 2-piece bikini. So we'll leave it at the 2-piece bikini for right now because that's just the angle. But anyways, White Widow number 1. I actually really dug this cover. This was kind of like the more pricier covers that they had. They had like only 1 or 2 more that was actually priced higher than these. But I just didn't want to spend that kind of money right now. And these are, again, very thick cardstock covers. Even in the grader's notes, it says that book will not lie flat. And they put it in this really thicker casing for whatever reason. I didn't know if that was necessary or not, but I was really hoping for a 9.9 or a 10. And it actually came back as a CBCS 9.8. So actually, there's a little bit of disappointment here. And, I felt like this should have been a little bit higher just because that's typically what you should get with these type of grades. But I'm fine with it. This is probably the one that I probably will keep in my personal collection and maybe sell off the other two just because I don't need 3 covers. For me, just to have one is good enough. And so, yeah, I got that. Really, really happy to have that. And again, the artist signed right there on her thigh, and the writer kind of signed in like this silver way over here on the webbing. So you might have kind of a hard time seeing it, but it's there. All right, up next is boom, X Factor number 5. So I am a huge Apocalypse fan. He's like one of my most favorite villains ever. And I had this, and I knew it was looking super clean, super high grade. And Bob Layton was actually at Comic Palooza in Houston last month. And I was like, you know what? I got to get him to sign this. Funny thing, though, is this was the last book that he wrote, the last issue that he wrote of X Factor. And then after this, I think he moved on to Iron Man. And I think that he's not credited for creating Apocalypse, but I got him to sign it still because he did do the writing in this book. I think the writing or the art, I can't remember. But he is credited as a creator of X Factor. So I was still happy to have him sign it. He kind of gave me the lowdown on the Apocalypse and how he was supposed to be like some kind of owl character or something like that. So Apocalypse is completely different from the original idea of the character. But I sent this off. I didn't know what grade this would come back as because I actually have another one that came back as a CGC 9.4. And this one came back a CBCS 9.8. So I'm really happy to have that. And I will probably keep this in my PC in hopes to get an X Factor number 6, 9.8. So we got this going for us. And I'm really happy about this. White pages as well. So, all right, let's keep it moving. We're going to go with this one right here. All right. Venom number 3. A lot of us have seen this. I think a lot of people have bought this, speculating and whatnot. The first appearance of Null. Some people pronounce him Canol. I just think that the K is silent and I pronounce him Null. But what's special about this is the 4th printing. Yes. 4 printings of this book. And you can tell because Venom at the bottom is entirely white. This is signed by Donny Cates, the writer, and Ryan Stegman, the artist. And I already knew this was high grade. It was actually the only copy that one of my LCSs had. And when I seen it, I picked it up because everybody knows that when these characters get popular, the later the printing, the more valuable they typically go. And if you check GPA analysis, this one is actually right up there with the first printing of Venom number 3, and even in some cases has actually sold for a tad bit more than the first printing. So these are definitely more scarce and more rare than the first, second, and third printings. And I just knew I had to have it. I had to get Stegman and Case to sign it. I sent it off hoping for a 9.8, and it came back. Boom! CBCS 9.8. So really happy about that. I got 2 of these. The first printing I'm actually going to sell. This 4th printing is going to stay in my PC for a while. There's no sense of urgency for me to sell. I've already read it, and it's just going to stay in my PC for a little while for now. All right, so we're going to put these away. We're going to move on to the final 2. The final 2. And this one right here, Uncanny X-Men 257. All right, so Psylocke is my favorite female comic book character. And Jim Lee and Chris Claremont were here in Texas. Had to have them sign it. I sent this off. I was actually thinking it might come back between a 9.2 and a 9.4 because it kind of had its issues on the back. I tried to clean it and press it when I first got into cleaning and pressing, and I kind of left some marks that don't really mess the book up, but they're noticeable. And I sent it in, and it came back as a 9.6. So I'm happy about it, but to be honest with you, I want this book in a 9.8. So this is actually for sale on Instagram, Facebook, and eBay. If anybody has any interest, hit me up. I am negotiable. Lowball offers, though, will be ignored. But it is signed by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont, kind of like the second appearance of the new Psylocke. So really, really cool cover here. All right, and last but certainly not least, Uncanny X-Men number 248. But before we get into this, make sure you guys check us out over at JLS Comics every Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, where myself, Jesse from JLS Comics, Justin from XL State Comics, and Chris, Boston Chris, we're just over there cutting up, talking comics, pop culture, movies, and whatnot. So check us out every Thursday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. All right, so like I said, this is the very final book. And got this signed by Jim Lee right here and Chris Claremont. And if anybody knows what this is the very first Jim Lee artwork on the X-Men. And it was high grade when I bought it. I pressed it anyways, even though it was in really high grade when I bought it. I sent it off hoping for a 9.8, but wasn't sure. And it came back, yes, CBCS and 9.8. So I'm really, really happy about this. The thing about this is I would love to keep this in my personal collection, but unfortunately, I have to sell it. So it is for sale right now on eBay, but in the meantime, I'm actually trying to auction it off. So if you go over to my Instagram at Strictly Comics, there's 10 or 11 spots still available. And this will be raffled off sometime this week once we get all the spots filled up and everybody's paid for them. So that's it, you guys. That's part 2 of my CBCS haul. And stay tuned next week where we'll wrap it up with part 3 of my largest CBCS submission ever. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. As I always say, keep God first in your life and enjoy your comic books. Until next time, everybody, have a great week. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.